Welcome to another episode of CMO Perspectives with me, Matthew York, Global CMO at Foundry. I'm delighted today to be joined by Meaghan Moore, Vice President, Global Partner Marketing at ServiceNow. Meaghan has been with ServiceNow for approximately 7 months, and before that, 11 years at SAP and 4 years at HPE. Meaghan, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Matthew.
Likewise. So let's dig straight in. So a partner marketing team is something that typically really companies of a certain size can develop. How would you explain partner marketing to marketers that don't frequently encounter it or are new to partner marketing?
Yeah, I think the best way to describe it is that we are an organization that works with our partners to help them learn how to create demand generation and pipeline acceleration, awareness, all that good stuff, so that they can take our products either with, on, or through our products and take them to market together. So it's really about, teaching our partners how to fish and how to create their own pipeline in kind of the simplest terms.
What challenges do you think are unique or KPIs are unique to partner marketing?
I think the most difficult thing about partner marketing is that when we're working with our partners, not a lot of our partners actually invest very much in marketing, as an example, right? So especially with decreased resources and everyone kind of tightening their belts these days, a lot of companies will hire sales or engineers before they hire marketing. And so in many cases, our partners are looking to us to do that work for them, or they need just very simple, snackable, self-serve type of things that they could take with very few and limited staff and take it to market.
Is it fair to say that there's a sort of transition from maybe T&E led kind of approaches to partner marketing to more to embracing more of the digital environment?
I would say there was, for sure. I mean, especially with the onset of COVID, obviously, T&E totally went away and everyone shifted to digital marketing. And very interesting, even with MDF dollars, which are typically the dollars that we give our partners, for marketing. All of that was, we would say, if you do digital marketing, it'll be 100%, reimbursable. So we were really pushing that. I've seen, though, a tremendous shift, especially in the last 6 months, where we are absolutely back to events again. And the pendulum is almost shifting dramatically the other way, where there's almost too many events going on right now. I think everyone wants to be back face to face. Events are absolutely happening again. But now you have this nice blend, though, of the event is happening, but it's really becoming more of a multi-touch event where the event then becomes digital afterwards and a lot of on-demand replays, and you can reuse that content, to last a lot longer. So people are doing more events, but they're doing more with them and they're lasting longer.
But that's interesting what you said, though, about the digital impact on events, because obviously in COVID, there was a sense that we were going to go through this kind of, sort of print to digital type transformation where once the digital genie was out of the bottle, then events were never going to come back. And of course, the reality is they, as you've said, they have. But it's good to see, though, that what we learned through COVID about how we can digitize events and create those interactions and that kind of compelling content and that virtual networking and the ability to drive longevity around an event has not gone away.
What's cool about it, though, is that events are different than they were also. I think they're much more intimate. They're much more kind of customized to who those attendees are. And with the onset of AI and, to your point, all this digital marketing, there's a much better opportunity to be able to do a multi-touch campaign to the people that come to those events. Before they come to that event, you can kind of warm them up and get them ready. At the event, you can personalize what's happening at that event. If you get a sense of kind of what session did they just go to, you can use predictive analytics to say, hey, if you went to that session, go hit this, this, and this. And then after the event, of course, you can go do a deep research on what they did and then do a very customized, personalized touch and nurture them for like the next 6 to 18 months hopefully till you hit sale at the end.
Yeah.
But it's a much more sophisticated event roadmap than it used to be.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fascinating. And I think it just, through that, you just get much more attribution than just, the old fashioned, well, I got a business card and
absolutely.
Somebody goes back 18 months later and says, wait, I think I was the one that picked up that card. You mentioned doubling in size and a growth mindset, and your CEO, Bill McDermott, I believe, has publicly articulated very ambitious financial goals, I think, of doubling company revenue by 2026. So we're not far out from there. how is your team and your role contributing to that rapid growth strategy? Because it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to be able to, across the spectrum that you're working across to develop plans and then execute those.
Our revenue objectives are really big and bold. The only way we are going to get to the numbers that Bill is saying to the market is to do it through partners in the ecosystem in a very big way. So we are doing a lot of work right now to prepare partners for that massive growth. We have a lot of phenomenal partners, from in the big SI space that we do very, high touch, curated one-to-one marketing models with, which is fantastic. Now our trick is, how do you cover a broad set of partner mix? How do you cover a broad set of programs that go out to market and having very sophisticated MDF models, as an example? We talked about events. Everybody wants to do events, no matter how small of a partner you are. And so, we don't have the ability as a small and mighty team over here to go cover 100 events in a quarter. And so we're really looking at how do you create like events in a box or acceleration kits or something that our partners can take very easily. Maybe you tie a third-party agency onto that to kind of help with the facilitation and execution of that, and you take it out to market. But we're going to have to come up with these kind of packages and services and market development funds to assist our partners to be able to go capture more of the market with lower touch from us internally than they've seen in the past.
Okay, so and it's interesting to hear, like you say, 100 events a quarter is a challenge, and so you super reliant on your ecosystem or outside partners even to facilitate that with the ecosystem. But of course, another challenge is, it's a big world out there.
Yes.
And some of the things that work well in the US won't necessarily work as well in other parts. And this is something we at Foundry have always dealt with, which is kind of global consistency, but locally relevant. Can you give us a bit more detail about how you go to market in that regard and how you're nuanced?
It's a great question, and we are absolutely a global team over here. So the way I look at it is that you have this global strategy and infrastructure. So our team is really responsible to develop that infrastructure at the highest level and make sure that all of the regions opt into that before we build it, right? Because you're totally right. If we build it too North America centric or whatever, it's not going to get picked up. So we make sure that there's an opt-in at the infrastructure level so that we have consistency. The regions will then take that and regionalize it, localize it. And then the MUs or the sales areas will take that and totally specifically localize it to the language or to the custom or to the, look and feel of that area. So I see it as like a 3-step. So it's a globalization, it's a regionalization, and then it's a localization to make it, very, very specific. But what we are really trying to do is our brand is extraordinarily important to us, as most large companies. And so keeping that global consistency at the top. So it's the same look and feel, no matter where you are in the world. If you walk into a ServiceNow event, you're going to have that same kind of feeling inside when you see our brand or see the, the layout of the room or kind of the executives that are there. And so we really strive to keep that consistency at the highest level, but really get very specific depending on exactly which, country or even city you're in.
Okay. So how are you then, because obviously that makes sense, but then of course, everything we do today in marketing is ROI driven. Everything has a set of KPIs against it. How do you then take the KPIs and maybe adapt them by market, or do you not? Do you hold people to the same sort of set of KPIs?
Well, I think it's like any other company where they have to be cascaded, right? So I'm going to take the biggest KPIs from our CMO over here. He's taking them from the CEO and the sales teams, and they're rolling down, right? A partner marketing KPI may be very different than a direct field marketing KPI, as an example. And so we will customize at some level to cascade them down. But we are going to keep very consistent as they cascade up through the company, because at the end of the day, if you get it's kind of like, the old adage of the kindergarten soccer team, right? Put everybody, everyone can be scrambling towards the ball at the same time. That's going to get us nowhere. But if we can put people on the field and spread them out and give them each a different position and go towards the same objective, we're going to be way more efficient.
Now, I've coached kindergarten soccer, and you're absolutely right. And in my experience, it takes till about 5th grade before people actually spread out and understand the concept of spreading out.
Maybe longer.
Yeah, and not just racing to the ball.
On the sidelines screaming at the kids, that's not helpful either.
No, so it's definitely not. It takes a while for them to understand that being over there where there's space is not a bad strategy to get the ball. Okay, so one of the things I read in preparing for this, and it came up a lot, is your use of the word trust. So can you just speak a little bit about how you see that word and why that means so much to you in the work environment?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two ways. Let's start externally, right? Our partners have to trust us in order to want to be partners with us and, use our models and go to market and all that kind of stuff. Partners have choice. We talk about it all the time. We're not the only vendor they partner with. The value of a partner is they take lots of different companies and lots of solutions, they put them together and take out, a great big solution in the market. And so our partners need to know that we've got their back, that we're building programs and solutions and incentives that are going to drive them, to the right business models, that God forbid, if something goes wrong, there's an escalation path back and we will help them. And that's really, really important. We want to be not just the trusted advisor in our field and our product and our brand, but we need to be trusted as marketeers, that they know that they've got, a safe place to come back to and we will help them, through anything they need. So I think externally trust is a big one. Internally, trust also extraordinarily important. So, as any team out there, teams that really have a high trust and work together, and you know that I've got your back, you've got my back, we're all moving in the same direction, will have extraordinary results compared to those teams that don't. So, it's probably the biggest thing for me is trust and collaboration for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I think trust in a more digital world, I think trust is an incredibly important currency.
Yes.
And I think you're seeing that coming more and more to the fore with especially with global brands. What are you looking forward to in 2024?
What I am looking forward to in 2024 is really, I think we are building something really unique over here. I like to, as I talked about that growth and doubling in company, and you've heard what you even mentioned, what our CEO has said. What that means is that you have to have a tremendous amount of change and enthusiasm and motivation to kind of push to that next level. So I'm feeling like, especially in 2024, we have a massive opportunity to really make a name for ourselves over here. Like we can put in place some small minor tweaks and some kind of bigger tweaks that are going to make massive differences for our company, for our partners, and ultimately, the most importantly, for our customers. And so I'm very excited about the strategy that we're laying out. I'm excited about the team that I have in place and all the new things we're working on in these scale models. I think this is going to be, it's going to be a really exciting year for our team for ServiceNow. So I think it's going to be amazing.
Well, that's great. And your enthusiasm is infectious. So as I wrap this up, I just want to kind of go through kind of buzzwords or key themes I heard. The intimacy of events, but leveraging digital, right? So the digitization of events, I find that. So being able to go full funnel is interesting. Obviously, you've got kind of this high growth rocket ship approach to the business, which means what you're doing and your team are doing has got to be repeatable and scalable over and over, but localized. Trust, both internal and external, but what I captured what you said. Trust is earned, right? You don't demand trust. Trust is earned. And then you said something that was I found really fascinating. The personal approach you've got to earning that trust and building those individual relationships with the various players on your team, and then enthusiasm for change, and
Yes.
Walking into the next year with a head held high and a heart full of excitement. I think that becomes infectious in an organization and people feed off of that. So Meaghan, I just want to thank you very much. I've really enjoyed spending the time with you today.
Thank you, Matthew. It's been great. I look forward to the year ahead with you as well.
Likewise. Thank you. Bye.